SBA EIDL scam you must know about, or else you could be next. Plus 0% interest for 6 to 18 months of business funding, and up to 150,000, if not 250,000, and even up to 5 million plus, incredibly fast, without collateral, no hard credit checks. Bad credit is acceptable, and get this, lower documentation. Hi, welcome in. This is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert who helps out a lot of businesses get the right type of financing under the right vehicle, strategic partnership, and the right roadmap for longer lasting success. Now, I want to jump right into things and answer, why did I put SBA EIDL scam, and what does that have to do with me? So if you haven't heard, let me move this over. There's been a lot of fraudulent activity, investigation from the feds, and a lot being put into this type of budgeting where they're doing that investigation to see who's committed fraud, these scams, people taking the EIDL funding and using them not for the right reasons, multiple reasons, laundering, a lot of different things. You've probably heard it on the news, and more continues to come up. And this fraudulent, scammy type of behavior. Now, the other part you may have not heard me talk about is where people then they come and comment on videos like these underneath, or they pop up on Telegram, WhatsApp, somewhere maybe on Facebook, maybe they've been on my Instagram, maybe my TikTok, Pinterest, etc. And if you've been a part of those platforms, and even if you haven't, you may have seen somebody commenting, hey, just reach out for this person. We can help you out with an EIDL loan application, or hey, I can help you get your EIDL processed and get you more funding, another round. Or somebody then goes and says, hey, I can get you a grant opportunity. Just get connected with this person from this place at that channel. Here's their number. And you may have seen what's called the follow train. Sometimes it happens on video content like this, excuse me. And you may see it underneath here once this is up on the replay, maybe, maybe not. But there have been video content in the past that I've produced where you see somebody commenting, and then underneath that, they may have commented again, or you see different profiles. And they're saying, yeah, it worked. It does. Just get in contact with them, and they will sort you out. Be very careful of that. I have no connection, no association. I don't know who they are. Just recently, I had a person on TikTok who I actually helped get funding out, who some Nigerian person contacted them and told them, hey, we can help you get funding. And then there are a lot more other stories, horror stories, that I have no participation and no involvement in, whether it's the EIDL loan, PPP, employee retention tax credit, maybe getting a non-collateralized revenue-based financing advance loan, collateralized equipment financing, SBA, S7A, 504. I have no association with those individuals who are causing this type of fraudulent activity. So please be very careful when you see somebody who is in those comment section going back and forth saying, hey, come and get an application in or start an application. I have no association, again, whatsoever. There's been millions upon millions. Feds are already on it, and they're getting involved, not with me, but for other people who are causing these problems to individuals. And those of you who are giving them your money, be very careful. Use common sense. And here are a few steps I want to get into on that, and then I'm going to transition over to the 0% interest. And more of this information, guys, I'm going to leave you guys down below in the comments or in the description. Go ahead and look in there in time once this is on the replay. And it should be on there now as we're streaming live. I put a description in there, and you can fill out a questionnaire to get in touch for getting the right type of financing. It'll be a business loan questionnaire. You fill it out. I will evaluate, analyze it, and give you a proper response back via email on your best funding option and options. Actually, today, I had a lot of people that I submitted it to back, and then they have already started their applications. Others who already passed the underwriting, gotten their offers, funding, and so much more. So make sure you look out for that questionnaire. It'll be down below, and there will be more in the description. But some of the steps you want to take when observing and making sure you spot something like this is as simple as, okay, once this is up, somebody comments and they go, hey, just send anybody need a grant, anybody need a loan, anybody need that. Avoid it when people ask that question, or they try to reach out to you and you're in their DM or some other way. And it's just as simple as spotting that and clicking on the profile to see who they are. If you're on YouTube, if you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, just make sure you click through that profile and verify who they are. What does their bio say? Who really are they? And sometimes you don't know because it's so deceiving that you have to first get into a direct messenger chat, or perhaps they tell you to call them at a number that they have listed. And so you have to do your due diligence. And I know it's not always, but a huge part of the older demographic, the baby boomers, are the ones who end up saying, hey, I'll do whatever it takes. Here's some money that I have. It's nothing to me, or it is something to me, but I have enough of it to go around. But just be very careful. It's an obvious thing. Consult with me. Make sure you come to me and say, hey, Michael, I have somebody who speaking to me. Did you know who they were? Or and usually it's a no. It's just because they act like me. On TikTok, you'll see a lot of profiles of them that are listed, and they pretend to be me. So be very careful. Those are just a few things you guys can do. I know there's a little bit more to mitigate that risk, but I'll leave it at that. The rest of it is just using your own judgment. Now, if you're here watching me on the live, please give me a hashtag live. Let me know where you are tuning in from. How was your Christmas, your holiday spent on the weekend? We are streaming today, 12 to 26, 2022. We're ending December, going into the new year. Any new plans? You're going to be ramping up, needing those funds to grow and expand. You're just in survival mode. You need COVID relief, operational reasons. I got you. I'll take care of you as an expert who's been doing this for some time. I know there's a lot of people out there who overpromise and underdeliver. So be careful of who you turn to. And in a second right now, I'm going to show you a few things on the 0% interest and then in a few spots you guys can go to. But before that, make sure that you guys go to somebody who's reputable, who knows their stuff, and is very confident and certain and not conceited or not cocky. I'm not like that. And so, again, if you guys need somebody who's going to guide you along the way and not give you the fluff, not tell you, hey, we can get you a monthly repayment or a weekly repayment, when the truth is you can only qualify for a daily. But if you had collateral, we could get you on a monthly repayment. And is it enough collateral? And do you really want to give that up and have that kind of totality and that kind of control? So those are a few things. Now, what I want to show you guys on another tab is a site where you guys can go find out more information, and then I'll show you guys the 0% interest in just a second. So right here is my site at viralfundingsolutions.com. The majority of you will know, especially if you have been here before. And if I haven't emailed you back your questionnaire or via email or another form of communication I haven't responded to, please be patient with me. We are in the holidays, and I am a little bit preoccupied on a few things, projects, etc. But I will get back to you soon. Here you see viralfundingsolutions.com. On the top of the navigation, this is just in case you were to leave, it's like a closing pop-up. Wait, don't you want a free A to Z business funding course, unlike anything else out there, that'll show you how to get funding up to 10 million plus without a hassle? I could possibly show you guys at the end of this video, but I have a course now that I've created. It's called the Business Funding Mastery Academy course. Some of you may have it already, and you've gone through it. People have been saying great things about it. Appreciate you for doing so. And I'll leave it down below in the description. I'm not sure how long I want to leave it for free, so make sure you pick that up while you can. And even if it isn't, it's well worth the value, because like they say, you don't pay attention until you what? You pay attention. And so check that out while you can. And back to this, I help small businesses and businesses of all sizes, to be honest with you, not just small, but including medium to large. I help out as well, but I want to say here, I help small businesses get alternative loans fast and be back into the economy, making sure that you are able to supply your, if you're in business to business, or if you're in business to consumer or in other formats, that you're doing your best to help out your community. And through you, I'm able to help out the economy as well. So that's a big thing. Are you ready to get incredibly fast business funding without getting declined, even with a poor credit score? You see there. And then on the right-hand side, a picture of me, might update that in time. And then just an @ tag there. There's a few of them that are different. And I'm here to get you the best loan or funding possible without a struggle. And then new here, there's a few things you guys can check out. And you have one-on-one consulting. It can be through direct messenger and then a phone call, or if it's really necessary for a phone call and I see it fit, then I will. New here, group program, dedicated Facebook group that's exclusive, and I might be creating some more of them later down the road. Digital products, and if you need help with a few things on your own business, like putting your website together and a few components of that, I have a digital marketing background. And then here, what is Viral Funding Solutions? We save you a lot of time, energy, money, and especially the pain of sifting through endless business funding solutions, such as an online marketplace or marketplaces that don't always give you a clear picture and a proper breakdown of your best funding option or best options, and show you everything you need to know before walking into an application with 110% confidence and certainty, I'll say, that you won't only get approved, but be satisfied with what you're getting. And they give you the most legitimate and helpful source of programs and lenders so you can have a safe and secure and hassle-free application process. With an expert loan broker like myself by your side, you will get a more personalized and customized response with what's best for you once and for all, strategically and having the right roadmap. Because let me ask you this question. At the end of the day, you want to be able to lay your head on your pillow before you go to bed, consciously and subconsciously feeling ecstatic, good, composed, so that when you wake up in the morning, you feel refreshed, you feel comfortable, you feel like you have a new source of energy that you will be taking on through your day for your work day or whatever that be it, on vacation, going out, sitting on the side right here, sand in front of you, on your feet. As you put your feet into the sand, you look out into the ocean. You see how calm it is. It's like you are on the outside as well as how you are on the inside. And that's what matters most. And making sure that you're rejuvenated. You can go back and do things. You don't always have to be the one in it, but on the one on the outside, looking from the outside in. So here's a little bit more, and then I'm going to go into a few of the other components. So you can go down here, how it works. And then you can click there to get started with the questionnaire services. There's a lot more. And then a little bit more about me, checklist you can pick up. And there are different tabs you guys can go through: questionnaire, real estate capital, if you're looking for that. But if I go down here after the how it works, the 3 steps, walk you through what I do. So just clicking there. And then here's the funding questionnaire you guys can check out. And I'll also leave it separately. So you can click from one of the two, non-startup or startup, and then go to non-startup if you're that. And then here you'll see get the funding your business needs fast. Complete the questionnaire form below to get a personalized and customized email response for your best funding option and options from a real business loan broker expert. Yours truly. Plus get a free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist to get you approved for funding faster without making those mistakes. So right here, you literally can get it done in less than a minute. I know you might not think so, but literally you can. You can get some estimates. And then you can see how it works. Quick video there. This might change a little bit over time, the look of it. And then on the thank you page, you sometimes can get started from there. But also there might be a video that says, hey, thank you, and or shows you my processes a little bit more and why I do things the way that I do them. Now, let me transition over to the 0% interest now. And remember, this will be down below in the description, so make sure you check out there to get faster access. How to get 0% interest for 6 to 18 months and up to $150,000, even up to $250,000 with the credit line hybrid. Now, what is this program? Perhaps you've heard me say it, so please stick with me, and then we'll transition to our next segment and close up shop. This is where you are getting access to multiple business credit cards. You are stacking, and they have different limits or similar with different banks, institutions, etc. It can be underneath one. But essentially, you have at least from 0% interest to 6 to 18 months. So, for example, if you got a Chase card, you may have only 12 months. And so you have 0% interest for those 12 months. You may get a card for $50,000, $100,000. You may get something for $20,000 just to start, or maybe less of a lower tier card. But what happens is now you have that card, and then you have another card, and then another one. And of course, there's a Chase 5 rule that I'm not going to get into right now. And if you guys want to learn about business credit cards, I'll leave video content down below in the description about 0% interest. And I walk you guys through different business credit cards and how to go in there and apply, whether it's online or you can do it offline, go into your traditional bank, which there are maybe some advantages to doing that with that banking relationship. But you can get quick response letting you know if you've been approved, how much have you been approved for, is that something you want to do? And it's not like just going to a Credit Karma and saying, hey, I'm going to see what kind of cards I'm going to be approved for. That's a lot of a pre-approval process where a company like that, they give you scores, but they're more of a marketing company. So be very careful about the things you do there, Vantage scores, non-Vantage scores, and so much more. And so you're essentially stacking multiple business credit cards where you have maybe a limit of 10, 20, 30, 40, and now you're getting closer to that 100,000, maybe with a couple, maybe with one card. But now you can use this and you can liquidate the cash out of those cards and use them for several investments. Put it back into your bank, hold it for a rainy day. You need more cash flow. You can use these cards for real estate purposes, investment properties, commercial real estate properties, although the amount that you would want for a CRE would probably far exceed your business and even personal credit cards put together, vendor credit, etc. So you can use it to purchase products and tools, supplies, equipment, anything you are in debt, maybe you can use towards that. And if you're facing a consolidation, refinancing type of situation, and you need to leverage business credit cards, it's one thing to use personal, it's another thing to use your business credit. And you have vendor credit underneath your business, and you also have credit lines, not traditionally in the sense of a business line of credit, but through business credit cards. Again, you can liquidate that cash out of. And what should you have to even be approved for these type of things? Well, you don't really need to have a business entity already. Exactly. You don't have to have a business already per se. However, you can leverage your personal credit to get access to business credit cards. And I would shoot for a credit score around 650, to be very honest with you. 625, 600 is 625. Okay. We got a foot in the door, but 650 really puts your 2 feet in the door. And stronger credit history, of course, they're going to look at your personal credit history. They can get you approved for business credit cards. They might get you approved for 5 times the amount you have on your personal credit. And a lot of the case is where they get you equal to that, especially if your personal credit history isn't as built up. They may say it's equally fit to say we can probably get you somewhere around there, more or less. And so this is a great program with a 680 and above on all 3 consumer credit bureaus. You can get access to the credit line hybrid program. And this is not a loan like many people would assume it to be. I don't ever use the word loan for that. I use credit line hybrid. And sometimes the marketing that maybe I put out there may sound like it's a loan, but it isn't that. And I'll clarify it for you, okay, just to make sure. And that's one part of the equation. Now, let me see if I can open up a new tab. And again, all information will be down below in the description for you guys to check out. You guys can maybe see this. So I want to make sure that I have the right, and I'm not keeping anything away from you guys, just so you know. And let me move this on the screen. We'll close up shop here, and we're running, let's see the time, just underneath 20 minutes and just about to be 18 minutes. Appreciate you guys for being in here. I know this is more of a spontaneous live, but I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention that, be careful about people running a scam. Be careful about non-legitimacy and how there are a lot of repercussions. Even if you weren't the one who absolutely knew, it could be where you're under investigation. And that could take years. That can take months to clear up. You already know this if you've been underneath some kind of fraud, maybe your credit. You have been on the dark web, perhaps. Your social security number has been at fault. And what it takes to actually clear that, because it does take some time. Other things like fraudulent alerts, notifications on your credit, some of those you can get removed like that. Literally, you can give a call to Experian or one of the credit bureaus, or you can look it up online and get in contact with them that way. You can resolve it your way, but a lot of the times you want to get on that and then let them know, hey, there's some fraudulent activity. Can we get this removed? It wasn't, this was the situation. And then people would come back to me and go, okay, now we can go through underwriting. Because until you clear some of those things up, going into the underwriting, the private lenders, they won't want to see that. And before I go into the share screen here again, some of those alternatives up to 2 million, 5 million incredibly fast entail SBA 7A loans, 504 loans up to 22 million, 10 million. And it's a lot harder in this market to get past that, even 5 million in a lot of cases, 10 million. For the right profile, though, we will do it. And an SBA 7A loan is something you can use for growth and expansion, inventory, just working capital. For debt consolidation, you're looking at a refinancing scenario, keeping your overhead low. We can consolidate other loans you have underneath one through the SBA. If you have other type of bridge funding like a term loan, lines of credit, cash advances, etc., we can do that. And I'm doing those every day. I have a lot of people in the application processes, those who are still going through underwriting, those who already have an approval, those who already took their SBA funding, and more come in every day because they trust me through me. When they come to me, you get the best. And the treatment, the level of expertise, the communication, no fluff, no theory. How you're hearing me is how I am. And as an introvert, that's what you want. You don't want somebody's going to be doing this in your ear, do you? Like a natural salesman. I'm not a salesman or a natural salesman by nature, honestly. I went to school academically, and I know how hard it is in getting funding. That's one thing I've been through. And so being in your shoes, I understand the difficulty of trying to go from one to the next. And then now you have emails, text messages, phone calls. You have people trying to flood your inbox. And you're like, what do I do? I just had to choose something. And that's not what you want. And a lot of the times they fluff you up. They say something good to you to make it sound good. And then it ends up becoming something else. You're like, what's going on here? And then that's how people, they turn around and they see me, and then they come to me and they know they get the best. I have the best network of lenders and underwriters. So you don't have to worry about, hey, Michael, will I get maximum funding, whether it happens initially or not. People think that they should get $1 million when they're doing $200,000 a month, or they're doing $10,000 a month. It just doesn't work that way. And you usually get 10 to 15% of your annual gross sales. In this market, we're seeing up to 13%. Now, sometimes 20, but up to 13% is a lot of the case right now, even with spectacular details. And the lenders are looking to mitigate risk, especially if you don't have any collateral to play with and not enough equity, liquidity. And so going back to the SBA thing, when you're looking for funding just for working capital and inventory, a lot of the time these lenders are taking a lien and taking on your property, your home is what they want to see. And if you don't have any other real estate, that's what they're going to just put a lien on, and they can come in as third position or so. They wouldn't want to. First position is best. But if you're looking just for the sake of just having cash on hand whenever you need to use it, but you're not using this for like a growth or expansion in a setup where it's going to double, triple, quadruple your money like this, or it's going to be happening, it's just to have money on hand. And that's the sole purpose of it. And there may be other reasons for it. Then that's where a lender, they go, okay, well, we have to take the collateral. We have to look at that and put a lien. We have to make sure, because you're just using it the way you're going to use it. And it's just not as purposeful as somebody else using it for equipment, growth and expansion, and a few other reasons that are going to help them raise the revenue. And I'm not saying yours wouldn't, but that's the case. Now, there's a bunch of other services, and to get connected with who is the best lender, who's the best provider, I'll show you that. And again, the questionnaire that I showed you earlier, that's the one you want to fill out if you haven't yet. Now, let me come back to the screen and then we'll close up shop. So what I have for you here, you may have seen already, 2 million plus in business funding with the strategic partnerships and right roadmap without having to struggle and messing up for yourself badly. And this means time and time again. You guys underestimate just how powerful this really is. And the majority of you already get it because you've been through me, you've been through this in the past. And you really have gone to see for yourself, like, I don't, what's the word, BS anybody. I don't harass or I don't heckle anybody. I'm very sincere and kind, but don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Don't take advantage of those. And, what I tell people is your word is your bond. So if you say something, you do it. You say something and you say when you'll do it and you don't, that's even worse. Regardless, when you say something, act on it. Don't say, hey, Michael, I'm going to start this and then never do it. Hey, Michael, I'll send the application in and I'll do this. And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks go by. And then you put me in a situation where I have to send you a quick text message or a direct message. And then you're unresponsive. And I go, do I have to really call them? No, I really don't. Do I really need them? No, I don't. And so the thing is, your word is your bond. And I care about people on a personal level, human level, and then in business second. Truly, personal and human level first. You're not a number to me. And then we can go into the business. But if you don't treat me the same way, and I put myself in your shoes every day, and it's not reciprocated, you can forget about it. You can be a business generating $2 million a month. You can be a billion-dollar business per year, 6 figures, 5 figures, 4 figures, and going backwards. For what I care is, who am I working with as well? I want to know your characteristics. I want to know what your maybe flaws are, if there are any. And you might have a stubbornness, an ego issue. You may have something that's lingering here where you've been upset, or you carry this on your personal life and it carries into your business. And now you're carrying it into me. Now I have this baggage that you're bringing to me that I don't need. And so, not that I'm going to turn down people like that. It's just, keep that here in the back of your mind and don't treat anybody the way you wouldn't want to be treated. And don't take advantage of others because you shouldn't be. And I'm the oldest of two, just so you know this. I don't put up with things like that. And I'm a very nice person, meticulous, cerebral about things, and so forth. Now let's go back into this document. So as you saw there, you see a lady here who has been through it. She is in her office. She could be at home too, doing the same thing, where she just has her hand on her forehead. She's trying to shy away from looking towards the camera or wherever that person she is talking to. And just in her own head, she's saying, why are there so many people trying to help me, but I don't know if they really are? There are people telling me that I can get approved, yet I go through the application only to find out that I get disapproved. When's it ever going to change for me? I'm just fed up, in anger. The times are getting harder. The season that I'm in, I really need the funds. I'm not getting what I want. I keep getting declined, shut down, turned down, people overpromising to me, under-delivering to me. I go through these online marketplaces. They just don't work. They're full of fluff theory. And when they do work, it's not what's best for me. And there was maximum funding out there. There was better terms, better rates, better strategic partnerships and roadmaps, having that relationship with someone like yours truly. And so they're here just flustered and frustrated and wondering what the day will bring tomorrow. They don't even want to go on with their own day. It's affecting them in their own business because this is all they can think about. They're wondering if they're going to be available in their own business day to day. Can they really get the money to grow and expand, to double, triple, quadruple their revenue, their gross profit margins, the right conversion, the right return on their investment, not only financially, but also with people. And then there's this person who goes and wins big. Let's just call her Lisa for this one, or Sarah for this one. The last one we can call Lisa. And this one here, we have Sarah. And she is just ecstatic. She has no worry right now. She's out and about on vacation. She's sitting on her chair right there on the beach as her feet are in the sand. She actually looked at the camera. Her husband took a picture of her, caught her right there, and not scripted. And she just turned around and smiled. But before that, she was looking out into the water. The depth she can see without getting any closer to the water. She can see how calm it is, blue lagoon. And she knows how clear. She can look through it, how calm it is, the sounds of the waves not crashing, but rather mellow and smooth. The people nearby, they might be chattering a little bit, but she sounds them out. It doesn't get to her. She doesn't feel like she has to just make it. She feels like she can thrive, not just survive, but be there and show up and not always work in it, but outside of her business. And so for that, she's very grateful and thankful, because she had a business loan broker expert, somebody who could help her, guide her, whether she got funding right away or she didn't. She came back later and said, hey, Michael, let's start this. Okay, we got this funding. How do we go up another level? Maybe there's the SBA if she didn't start there, or there's the employee retention tax credit we could be working on. We could be working on fixing or improving her personal credit, her business credit, vendor credit. We could be looking at other credit tier programs. We could be looking at other funding programs, collateralized. She has real estate property. She wants to work with the real estate lender. Heck yeah, she's on board. She's happy. A construction loan for a builder specifically, or maybe it's just working capital related. Medical, health, it does not matter. Each and every industry, you will be treated fairly with yours truly. Now down here, we have a Brian. Brian is just happy. He can't even put it into words what he's just gone through. I don't know if you guys have ever felt that, but some things you cannot just put into words. And in the beginning, they came to me frustrated. They were unhappy. And we're just putting that as a theoretical situation, guys. This is just an image that I put here just to capture this moment. But that's what they are doing. They're in the moment. They're capturing it. Before they came to me, they were just wondering, like, what would tomorrow bring? Am I going to just take this funding amount? I got approved for this. But there has to be something better, and there usually is. Don't always believe those companies out there who are just advertising because they have $100,000, $1 million a month advertising budget, so they put whatever necessary tools and team they have behind to try to do this. And it's not always in your best interest. They shop your information, third parties. You don't always get the best lender, the best look, the best network, the people that you should know. It's not always about what, but who you know. So if you know me and my team and my underwriters and my team of lenders who are actually the best for every type of industry, and we could say, hey, we take you directly, or it's better in this market to go indirect, and we look at an association where I already have that direct lender partnership or those partnerships with those lenders, but it's better to do it in a brokerage format. And then maybe we go, hey, we can look at entertaining 1 to 3 lenders, but ideally we're going to pull from one lender and not hurt your credit. It's very safe and secure. But we go, I get the information, I review, analyze, evaluate it. I go and I take it to the underwriter and I go, okay, this is what we're looking at, underwriter. this is the one we're going to go with. This is the lender, or one or two or three lenders or so. We're not going to hurt your credit. It's very safe and secure, but we're saying, hey, we're going to pull A-tier lender here, 2 A-tier lenders. We have 1 B-tier lender who can possibly give you more at better rates, but maybe the term is a little bit less. Over here we go, you're A-tier qualified. So we're going to look at these A-tier lenders, and we're going to go, okay, let's go with this one. Boom. And that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing on our back end with my team, myself. And when I have feedback from my underwriting, then I can come back to you and say, hey, this is what underwriting said. And even if you were disqualified, some of the things the underwriters can't tell me, and anybody else either, because it's very confidential between you and the underwriter, or you and the client and that lender association. And sometimes not everybody can know that. And another point, because you know me, I'll get a little bit more flexibility to know, because they trust me. Not only because I brought them a lot of people, but that relationship that I have built with them personally and in business. Excuse me. So again, just to round up this video, I think that's where I'm going to leave it with. And you see there on the screen how Brian is just ecstatic because he's getting the funding. He's like, I got it. And then they're still going to be working with me over time and saying, hey, how can I get additional funding? How can we get moving on this? I want to get moving on it now. Wait till the new year, and then we can get started on this. Let me get the funds right now. I'm going to apply those funds. And then in a month from now, we can come back, get the rest of the documentation that I maybe don't have yet, but I would need for maybe an SBA Express loan up to 350, if not a standard SBA 7A loan up to 5 million. Maybe it's a 504 loan, CDC, or a grant you're looking for, or a microloan. And there are different solutions. Bridge funding, you can look at getting like a term loan, a line of credit, or an advance. And in the meantime, you can get looked at for the SBA loan. So there are different facilities. We can do it in all in one place. We can do it where we get term loan, advance, or line of credit, a combination of those two, term loan, line of credit, advance, line of credit. And then we're trying to look at getting you approved for an SBA loan. We can do them separate places, separate lenders. That's how it would be, because term loan lenders, SBA lenders is different. And the above. So let me move this over. Hopefully you were able to receive the value that I put together in this video. Please go back and watch if you just joined, or feel like you missed something, or you just need to put it back up here and have it ready to go. So that way, when I help you out, there are no stones that are unturned, and that you're not feeling like you're so desperate and you're scrambling for funds, because you should get funding. Oh, you shouldn't always, but you should get the funding when you don't need it. And I would say that speaks more to levels to a line of credit, a business line of credit. But I believe everybody should have a business line of credit. Not everybody will get one, obviously, because of industry, revenue, credit requirements. It's a more credit intensive program, especially in today's market. It's harder to get approved for a line of credit, especially if you were to go to a bank, because banks are pulling those. People who are not using them, not even once a year. Some of them have more requirements where you have to use them multiple times in a year. And I've seen people losing 500,000, 250,000, 100,000, even less than that, even more than that, because they don't use it. They just let it sit there, and they didn't pull out because they didn't want to use it because they'd have to pay on interest. That sounds foolish to me. Like, how could you not pay on interest? How are these banks, how are these institutions and these lenders not going to make their money when what it comes from is that interest and a few more things? So quickly recapping, let's go to the back where we started, or front. SBA EIDL scams, be very careful. There are people out there who are trying to gather your information. There's been a lot of fraudulent activity caused by people who received EIDL. That's another story. The other part of it that I wanted to address is how people may show up in my comments, Telegram, Cardigram, WhatsApp, I don't know, all the other networks to tell you to reach out on. And you might have seen my content elsewhere, like TikTok, Instagram, etc. But I have no association with them whatsoever. It just happens where I can't always block them. And when I do, more end up showing up and flooding the gates. And so it's very common sense, guys. If it's not me, if you don't know it's me, click through the profile, learn more, direct message me, find the right profile, and you'll find out that there is better on the other side. So I didn't get too much into like the hardship accommodation plan, possible EIDL deferments next year. That could be a possibility. There's still something in the works there. EIDL repayment structure with the hardship accommodation plan, for the 6 months, etc. Reduce payments. There's that. I'll leave a video for it. I believe I'll have it down below in the description. I have already made content on that. That's why I didn't focus on that in this video. But for anything else, please feel free to reach out. Questionnaire, please submit it. And I will be able to analyze, evaluate it as your broker, as an expert who really does care sincerely. I do take the time to do that. I don't just, I'm not that person who just says it. And it's hard sometimes because as an introvert, and if you are one, you know this, how sometimes opening up, and I don't always open up too much. And when people ask themselves, hey, can I even trust this guy if it's your first time? And if it isn't, you know the clear answer to that. It's usually because they don't know me. And then two, it's a self-reflection thing. You may have been hurt in the past. Your beliefs have been misconstrued. You have misconceptions, myths about things. And I get it. It's not your fault. Let me take that off your shoulders and put it on mine. I'll carry that on my back. Think about it like we're going into a war, into a battle. I got you on my back. You can't no longer work. You're wounded. I got you. Let's get through this. I'm going to take you back to the medic. And I'm going to take away from my position and go back just to help you out because I really do sincerely care. And I'm going to help you get through in the battle. And the times where you feel like nobody else will help you, I'll be here along the way. Don't worry. And just the things that I'm doing on my back end, a lot of it, you guys wouldn't really understand. Some of that I can't disclose, confidential stuff as a broker agent, things that I do that are very helpful. And it's very legit, just so you guys know it's not like anything bad. But my systems, you guys got to put yourselves in my shoes and what I have to go through when you guys go through an application and don't show up. You go through an application and I need feedback, so I ask you for it, but you just disappeared. You went into the bushes like Homer Simpson doing this. Have you guys seen that meme? Or Casper the Unfriendly Ghost? So when it is asked for, please show up. You're not submitting an application with a robotic response. You're coming through an expert. You're coming through somebody who is actually reviewing the file, the documents before they go to the underwriter. And when I get feedback from underwriting, if it doesn't get shut down before, because sometimes we can do an in-house look, then show up. And then when an offer comes up, don't just disappear like a lot of people do. And those people have fundamentally flawed characteristics. There's no other way for me to put it. I'm not saying it to be mean or aggressive. It's just tough love, guys. If you don't have those personality traits that, you know, you're more patient, you're just on it. Hey, Michael, take care of this for me. I got your back. When do I ever hear that? So what I say to that is just make sure we're working on ourselves as a business owner, entrepreneurs. I have content like my Business Funding Master Academy course that walks you through those first several videos before you go through anything else. It's A to Z, and it's built structurally so you can understand like, hey, this is who I need to become. Michael has it. He knows how I am. He knows how I act. Maybe we haven't spoken yet, but I'm going to take this content and I'm going to take it to heart and I'm going to learn from it. And I'm going to go, well, how can I become more patient? How can this help me? I got to read a book, or do I got to, read a little bit of content on this, or watch a little bit of motivation content on this? And what do I need to do to then move up levels from there? Because what we do in our business is a reflection of who and what we do outside of that. And not all of it 100%, but what is over here translates to this. So we don't have any friction. We don't have any resistance. That's what we're trying to mitigate, the resistance and the friction. I don't bump heads with people. Usually I don't 100% of the time. But when we're doing this as a resistance band and we're doing this as friction, I don't want to have to age 20 years just going through an application. So please make it stress-free, hassle-free for me like I'm doing it for you. And I don't want to, I take that very seriously. I don't want to age 20 years, being 30 years. I don't want to have to go through an application. And then this whole back and forth thing that wasn't necessary. Our next point of communication needed to be this. So I'll get back to you when that happens. And then this and this and this. It's just, I get it. Sometimes it has to be there. And then other times it doesn't have to be. So if you can make it less of that and more of, hey, I'm ready to move forward. Let's take this. Let's go, without me having to have to do like too much. I would be very thankful and grateful for you doing that. But again, just make sure we're all being compliant, not scamming, not doing anything fraudulent, and that you're doing the steps. Don't go to step 3, when you haven't even done step 0. Don't go to point Y when you haven't even done your x-axis. You haven't even put the labels on your X and Y. You haven't even put the title of your graph. And you're over here trying to plot. and put it on a linear line. Like you're not supposed to go linear. If you're going horizontal or you're doing this or you're on your way down. So what you think is different than what I know. And so it doesn't ever surprise me because everybody's at a different point educationally. A lot of you have been watching me and already like, Michael, this is easy for me and simple. And so, yeah, kudos to you. Not to everybody. It's simple, not easy. I never say it's easy. I say it's simple, not easy. Other cases, I'll say it's easier depending on your situation. That's when we can speak about that. But when it's so simple, yet you skip the steps, you go from point A right to point Z. Like where was everything in between that? And I had discussed this with you. The email that I sent you, I told you to read it carefully. And now you're asking me, where do I start an application? Well, it shows me you didn't even read it. You said you opened it and you saw it, but you didn't read it. Or you didn't even go through it. You just wanted to get to where the part where it said, where's the application? Where do I get started? What do I click? Where do I send the documents? How do I send you the documents, Michael? I have people to this day who still send me documents and I didn't even ask for them, which is fine in some cases. But other cases, it's like, I needed it done this way. Or I needed you to do this first, but you didn't even listen to me. Now we're going backwards. Now I got to go back and do this. Now I got to email you that, hey, you didn't do that. See how we just took another 5 to 10 minutes or so? It could even take longer to have to come back to that. And that time should have been spent, energy spent to this other individual or another project that I had. So that's how punctual and disciplined I am. I'm very cognizant. And don't think I don't see those things, because I do. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Appreciate you guys for being here today. Please go and enjoy your holidays. If you're on break, vacation, maybe you are sitting out on that beach, you are that Lisa, or you are that John. You're at work right now. You didn't take time off on the holidays for Christmas. You were working. I believe we should take a little bit of time off with our families and or ourselves and recuperate during these times and regenerate. Put a plan together right now. You guys should be doing that from here till the end of December. You guys should already have a plan before the start of January, before the 1st of January, before that first week. You guys should already have something that's a little bit more concrete, and it could be more evident as you go into the first couple of weeks of January, because you wanted to see a few things. It depends on what you're doing, of course. But I would have a business plan together and say, Michael, like for the end of the year, I want to have my funds before. And okay, now what does that look like going into January, first quarter? And then what does it look like second quarter, third quarter? You should, in a way, already have all that mapped out. Now, you may not have the concrete numbers to support you, especially if you're just getting started or a few things. But if you have projections and you know, because there's a pattern that's been reoccurring, I already set up my plans. I've already done it. So I don't have to be worrying about all this for my multiple businesses. I already took care of it even before Christmas came, even before the holidays showed up. I was already prepared way before the mid of the year. Already prepared for next year. And of course, there are some things I have to change with numbers and so forth. But if you can't tell me that you have a plan B or a C or a D on top of a plan A, go back to that. Because, okay, if we have a plan A, why should we have a plan B? If we are putting all of our eggs on our plan A, why should we believe in a plan B? I get that whole concept and methodology, but it is a little bit nonsense when it comes to getting a business loan or an advance or whatever that funding is, because you have to have, hey, sometimes you don't get all the maximum funding you want. You thought you would get 30,000, but instead you ended up only with half of that, 15,000. So what do you do with 15,000? So, okay, now I'm going to use it for this. And then when I get the rest of it in about 30 to 60, 90 days or whenever that is, I'm going to use that or double the amount that I get next time. And then I'm going to apply it this way. So sometimes you have to have a business plan that's plan B, plan C sometimes, not always. If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. But don't be surprised when you find out that you don't get the right financing, or you're like, why not? And then you have to come back and get a little bit more. You have to trickle it. You have to build that relationship with the lender. They have to have you show some skin in the game. If you have no skin in the game, or you have a repetitious pattern that's vicious, like why would they want to lend you that amount when you also have a lot of debt? You have horrible credit, and your credit history is just not, you have too much debt to income. Like, oh, how are we going to give you 20,000 and pay back this amount? Maybe you're paying back 4,000 to 5,000 a month when you're struggling to pay this. That means you may not even be able to pay us, or you may be able to pay us, but then what are you doing there? You're going to be hurting even more, and you're just going to be going backwards. So that is everything from me. Again, happy holidays. Appreciate you guys. Happy holidays and a happy new year. Merry Christmas and a happy new year, New Year's Eve. Get prepared. We're going to take this by storm come in January, starting January, first week. And then it'll carry on that momentum through the rest of the year. And I'll be there every step of the way with you guys. But my question to you is always, will you be there for me like I've been there for you? and show up when I need it to be, and be patient, allow feedback, be open-minded, don't close your mind off, and work with the best in the best industry. So that is everything from me. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Look in the description for all else. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or a couple. I was supposed to do one. I don't know. I went to, but share with others who you feel will get value out of it. It can be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member, but you know you help somebody and change their lives. It's like not exactly the word I want to use, donating, but you are in a sense, because you're spreading something for free that somebody doesn't have to pay for to go watch this content. Like, oh my God, like if somebody had this, they have an A to Z course. They have other material, 6-step pre-approval lending checklist. They have a questionnaire they can submit. Instead of going to those, I ran $100,000 advertising budget on Facebook that showed up on an online marketplace. So if you come submit them for, like, I'm not saying I don't advertise, but just be very careful about those companies who are somewhat small business, but they're more medium to higher because they have those budgets. They have lender organizations who are maybe not the best. It's more volatile. It's a lot more to go into that I can spend a lot of time on this video. I've done it already in other content. Okay, please subscribe. If you haven't, click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content I will be coming out with. Appreciate you guys again. Thank you. Talk to you all soon. Bye.